The real estate wholesaling game has put you in a matrix. The wholesaling gurus have put you on a matrix. If you're on a journey right now to get your first wholesaling real estate deal, the gurus have you locked down. You are stuck in the matrix and you are unable to get your first wholesaling deal. What we want to do today is give you the red pill for wholesaling real estate, show you the truth, show you reality, show you exactly how to get your first deal in under 2 weeks. Here's the issue. The gurus don't want you to know about the truth. If they knew the absolute truth of how to get your first wholesaling deal, the rule of threes, the rule of exactly how to focus on these three things to get your first real estate wholesaling deal. It takes 2 weeks. That is it. And we're going to give you the red pill today and show you the absolute truth. The problem is the gurus will be going after us for this. They cannot sell you a $2,000, $3,000 program. And you're going to see the exact truth of what it takes for wholesaling success. Ready to wake the people up?
Yeah. So guys, the red pill is the cure. If you take the blue pill that every guru is chasing in your back pocket, you're going to get stuck. You got to get through the matrix. I'm telling you, dude, I've been through this journey for 21 years. Nobody tells you the truth on how it is. So the whole purpose of me and Zach being here is to cut you through the crap, get you to your first deal. Not only your first deal, get you to your first 100 grand. We have the red pill to give you the cure for it. Do not take the blue.
There's so many new wholesalers that come in and they want to learn this business and they're a little worried. You know, they're a little scared. It's a very overwhelming process. It's a very overwhelming thing. And it's a big brave thing to go say, hey, I'm going to make a change in my life right now. Mm-hmm. And once you make that change in your life that you're ready to do whatever it takes to become successful, get your first deal, that's when the real work starts. The real work's not deciding. The real work's taking the action. So what we're going to do is just give you a 2-week, basically action plan guide with the rule of threes of how you can do it. I think so many wholesalers they overcomplicate this business. And what I want to do is just simplify it so you can get your first wholesaling real estate deal, how you can be as successful as possible. But I truly believe so many people, they're getting lost, right? They're in that little wholesaling matrix from the gurus. What we're going to do today is show you how to get your first wholesaling real estate deal in under 2 weeks. We're going to share the exact guide and how you can do it. So without further ado, let's break it down. Let's get into it. And let's share exactly how anybody can go out here and wholesaling and get their first dang wholesaling deal. So the first thing we got to understand here is, what is wholesaling? How do I get my first deal? Things like, and we've gone over this a million times, but I want everyone to understand, if you are wanting to get into wholesaling and you actually want to go learn real estate wholesaling, we do have a free course. It's called freewholesaling.com. It'll show you the fundamentals. We are assuming in this video you understand some basic fundamentals of wholesaling. We are assuming you know some key terms, and that's what we're going to break down today. And that's what we're going to like. So for example, like if I say the word cold calling, I hope you understand some concepts of it. If you don't, go to freewholesaling.com. It'll show you the basic thing. We actually have a lingo dictionary.
You don't have to DM and go through a phone call to get that information.
No. You can just go through I have a little acronym guide and shows you the little acronyms I say and some of the new terms, because it's crazy for beginners. A lot of these people, gurus are be like, oh, ARV, and they'll say MAO, and they say all these terms that sound so confusing starting out. And what we want to do is just simplify the process and honestly just break you through the matrix. So let's kind of break this down and let's get into it. You want to get your first deal in 2 weeks or less. Let's break it down. So let's talk about the biggest obstacle. The first thing we have to address is the biggest obstacle in wholesaling real estate for anybody getting their first deal. And here's the big issue I want to address starting out. A lot of people think the biggest obstacle to their success is the amount of money they have, where they live, what they look like, what they sound like. And honestly, or it's some people think it's like how intelligent they are. Like it's none of that. Do I have a degree? No, it's none of those things. The true thing that is going to stop you from becoming a success in wholesaling, the one obstacle is your mind. It is what you call the thing between your ears, right?
Oh yeah.
It's the mind, right? The mind is going to be the thing that is going to be the biggest obstacle from your success, right? If you can overcome the thoughts in your brain that is stopping you from becoming successful, nothing will stop you. When you have the mindset of a champion, nothing will stop you.
And the reality is, listen, if you're young, you're old, it doesn't matter. You guys, I didn't figure it out till I was in my 30s, okay? You are a product of the environment around you. Now, you didn't choose your family. We love our family, we don't choose them. But your family probably has the biggest influence on how you think about money and how you operate within your financial boundaries. The second one is going to be the school system. We're not even going to go down that road because you already know that's going to majorly handicap you. In fact, school did not teach you anything about money unless you took a basic economics class. Maybe in high school, maybe a little bit in college, and honestly, most of that information is dated. And the third biggest influence is going to be your circle of friends. These are most of the people you grew up. I'm here to tell you, to make change, you're going to have to step outside because those are the three things that are actually holding your mind back. And if you are open to it, I'm not telling you have to lose all your friends stuff. You're going to lose a lot of them. It's better off for you, because when you grow and you prosper, people question you. And the reason is you're making them feel insecure. I struggled with this for a long time, and I'm here to tell you, your family loves you, but they didn't educate you on financial. School system destroyed you, sorry. And your friends, for the most part, they're a lot of fun, but they're broke. So you're going to have to break out of those three circles and open your mind up, because you're so programmed. Now, here's the good news is your brain doesn't fully develop, I think, till you're 32, 33. 25, whatever.
Prefrontal cortex.
So it doesn't matter about, guys, I woke up in my 30s and said, I tried the old system. So it doesn't matter if you're young or old. You've got to understand your mind is the biggest determining factor of where you're going to go with wholesaling. Understand who's influenced you at this point, why you think that way. And you're going to have to open your mind up to find people's shoes you want to be in.
Exactly. And if you can get over yourself and the negative thoughts you have in your brain, it'll change everything. The biggest issue I have when I'm helping beginner wholesalers get their first deal is they always say, oh, I tried to find a cash buyer, but I couldn't. Or, the cash buyer just fell through. The deal fell through. It's such a ambiguous term. The deal just fell through. It did not fall through. It fell through because either you did not follow up with the cash buyer, you didn't actually go out here and get a good enough deal, all these things, right? I think so many wholesalers out here, they truly believe that the deal just magically didn't work out, or I just magically can't find any deals. No, guys, to get a wholesaling deal, it's all about the volume of marketing you have and how much work you put into that, right? And the follow-ups and things like that. But like a lot of people like to make excuses. Oh, I'm just not good enough. I don't deserve it. All this stuff. It drives me insane. Guys, change your thinking and it will change everything. So that being said, I want you guys to have a positive mindset going into wholesaling, I can do it mindset. Anybody can do it. If this dummy can do it, and if you can do it,
this dummy,
like we're both big dummies over here.
Hey, guys, listen, my SAT score is, I was so embarrassed so long by it. And I'm here to tell you, the wealthiest people I know in this world, the people I associate the most with, it's not about who's the smartest, because that's what you were taught in school. It's about who has the most conviction to see something through. That is it. That is the real secret to becoming free and becoming financially free. So many of you guys think whoever got the best grades and the best scores come in. Theoretically, it should work that way. The reality is it doesn't, because those people will wind up working for you. But I'm here to tell you, the journey through wholesaling, it is a minefield and you have to work through it. No, I have never met, and you can vouch that, I've never met anyone who went through wholesaling and goes, man, that was so easy. I just went through it. But here's the problem. You guys got a matrix behind you. Every guru is telling you how simple and how easy it is and how perfect their life is. Number one, you're not getting a real snapshot of anyone's life. Everyone's gone through this business has been through a massive journey, and we all wanted to quit multiple times. The difference is we had the conviction to get through it, and it's hard, especially your first year or two. Now, I can't sell that script, that truth, and sell you a course package. And this is the number one way you're getting fooled. So you do have to fix your mind. If you hire a guru or you use me and Zach for free, I will tell you, you will not succeed if you don't fix your broken mind. And the last secret I'm going to share on this is you've got to let your ego go. Your ego is your mind's ability, your subconscious to tell you you're always right. You guys know people that are always right. They are a nightmare. You can't teach them anything. They're done. So stop looking rich and learn to become rich. And that is the first step to losing your ego and actually learning how the real financial world works.
Exactly. So if you're ready to get your first wholesaling deal, let's break this down. Let's get into it. I want everyone to understand we make this business super simple because it really is. It's not as complicated as it seems. So
we're complicated. You're complicated. That's the problem.
You're making it complicated.
And if we could get like out of your own head to do it, and you could take the action plan to move forward, you'll do fine with it. But like, you've got to fix what's in your head.
Exactly. So first question is like, where to find a wholesaling deal, right? So the big question, there's mostly,
I'm looking.
Where? There's the big, it's like, where do I go, right?
Is there one in my is there a duplex in my driveway when I pull up home from work?
It doesn't work like that, right?
No.
You can do virtual wholesaling or regular wholesaling, right? Now, for freewholesaling.com, we do break all the stuff down, but it's like, here's a general rule for everybody watching this. You can write this down. It's at freewholesaling.com. So, I can repeat it all day, but if your real estate market has a population of above 100,000 for the city, maybe for the county, and the median home price is below 400,000, it's a great wholesaling deal. Now, here's the issue. If it is a population that's too low, it ain't going to work, right? So the key point here is to find a good wholesaling market is you want to find areas where there's a big population and then lower prices. And really the way is because when you have a bigger population, you have a lot of cash buyers. When you have a deal, you want a wide array of cash buyers. I get somebody in like, Suttonville, Texas with like 400 people living in. They're like, I can't sell this deal. I'm like, duh. You can't sell that deal because nobody lives there, right? There's 400 people. Not enough cash buyers. But then you get the problem, there's a lot of people, but the prices are too high. And when the price is too high, it's very hard to get a good discount, because to get a 10% discount off of a Doritos chip, that's $3, 10% off, 30 cents. Fine, take it, right?
Doritos, dude, you're making me hungry.
I love Doritos, but if I want to get 10% off your $4 million house, 400 grand, human beings can't justify that, right? But they can justify it on a lower price. So that's why wholesaling a $100,000 house is way easier to get a big discount versus a $1 million house. So I found when houses are below $400,000 on average, that means you're dealing with houses that are 250, 300 probably, maybe even below that. That's a really sweet spot in wholesaling.
Yeah, and those higher price points, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have a realtor involved and they want nothing but the highest price. Plus, you have a higher level of sophistication of a seller. And for those reasons, for a beginner, it's just not the best place to start. Not saying you can't do it, but to take on real estate agents, a higher seller IQ on a property, and you are lacking the experience, those are a recipe for disaster. Here's the reality. The Matrix right now is selling you entire courses on how to flip these MLSs. And I'm here to tell you the success rate is so minute. It's frustrating and killing most people that start in this business. I am a huge fan of off-market, like low-priced properties, but we all have to start somewhere. So don't start at the top of the mountain where you're going to have to deal with realtors. You don't have to do the conversation. You're dealing with people that only want the top price. Why would you start there? Not saying you can't do it, but I'm here to tell you is we're trying to give you the best success blueprint to get started in wholesaling. So pick your mountain to climb on and get the one at least you have a shot at, because that other way, I take you through a 90-day course, but at the end, you're probably still going to be exactly where you started, and you're probably going to be about $5,000 lighter.
Exactly. And then on top of this too, when you really want to find a good wholesaling market, this is the honest truth. You just got to look for what they call working class neighborhoods. Okay. So there's 4 or 5 type of neighborhoods in every given city. So if you live in Dallas, Houston, Memphis, Atlanta, Miami, like all these cities in the United States, it's considered a metro market, right? If there's if there's an NBA team there, if there's an MLB team, or at least a major sports team there, it's probably a big enough market, right? That it's good enough, right?
I used to pick them if there was a Home Depot there.
Yeah, there's Home Depots
back in the day,
but there's Home Depots in very low population. But like for every city, if it's big enough, if it has a population over 200,000, you should be fine, right? And so honestly, what I can tell you is there's about 4 or 5 type of places. There is, I'm just saying this bluntly, there are things they call the hood, right? There's basically what that is. If you really want to get a definition, they are just considered high crime area. Every single city has it. The pocket of crime in a city is usually in the downtown region. I mean, that's where people populate. And then there's just areas that are lower priced and higher crime. That's all I can explain on it, right? In every city, there is one, right? Unfortunately, that's the truth. In the entire world, that's what it is. I wish there was zero crime, but unfortunately, there is. And those areas are kind of hard for wholesaling. Prices are really cheap because of that. But unfortunately, you have a higher chance of somebody breaking in the property. You have a higher chance of that property getting destroyed. Squatters going in the house, right? Drug addicts sometimes sneak in there. And I'm not saying this just to generalize. This happens to us. We've wholesaled houses in high crime areas, get broken in, get squatters in there. People leave needles everywhere. It's not as profitable because you deal with a lot of it's annoying. And so this is not an area that's really good for wholesaling. On the other spectrum, you have the nice glitzy glamour places, right? It's just insane properties, millions of dollars. That's not good either, right? And in between that, the second one is it's in between working class and the hood. It's kind of like working class light, like very cheap. Crime's a little higher than average, but it's not terrible. Yeah, that's okay. Type of neighborhoods 3. This is the best one. It's the middle range. It's what we call working class neighborhoods, where they're the same houses as the ones in the quote unquote hood, but it's low crime because who's living there are people that work regular jobs, like working class jobs, blue collar, some white collar, They're maybe a manager at like a restaurant. They go out here and they're a janitor, they're a car mechanic, sanitation services, right? Like just very basic necessities of life where people live, and they honestly do the work not a lot of people appreciate enough, right? And just working class neighborhoods, teachers, like those type of professions, they're not making a ton of money, right? Under 6 figures on average, but they're good people and they don't commit crimes, and they have their kids living there. And there's a majority of those houses. Now, those type of houses are what they call starter homes. Where I'm trying to buy a house and I don't have a lot of money. That's a house I'm going to start out. Those are usually older homes that are smaller, usually 1,000, 1,200 square feet. And they need a little bit of work. They're not crazy, maybe not completely updated, but those are great properties. Because the reason why I love starter homes is we have some family members actually trying to, they're working great jobs, but like they're trying to get a mortgage, right? They're in their young 20s, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying to get a house, and they're like, oh my gosh, they try to bid on the cheaper houses, right? And then it's getting outbidded. And that's kind of the reason. When I can go buy a house like that that's distressed, I sell it on the MLS. Everybody wants that because they can't afford a $500,000 house, right? They got to go like the 200.
And they can't afford the rehab, so they want someone to eventually do the rehab. I don't do the rehab unless it's super, super simple. But it's, the thing is, Zach's trying to give you the whole spectrum of the different types of houses you do. Here's the truth. I've done every one of them. And the crazy thing is, eventually you will do $1 million homes. Here's the best part about wholesaling is the same skill set you'll use for those $1 million homes, other than adding the realtor language, which is something you learn over time. And we're happy to teach you. It's not that hard. It's the same skill set as buying a house in the hood, just different types of risks, either physically or financially.
Financial risks are the big one.
Correct. So you have to kind of, so the whole idea of why most of you are attracting the wholesaling is you want to change the trajectory of your life and you don't like your financial situation and you really want to get freedom of time. That's why I'm here. That's how I got into wholesaling. And honestly, that's the message I will always preach. It will never change. And so you minimize your risk, and you just got to go out and learn to talk to many people as you can and create as many leads as possible. And that's why wholesaling is so attractive. And then as you get more and more skill sets, remember, wholesaling is the foundation of real estate investing. I find people that do the best in any type of real estate investing always have a core foundation of wholesaling. I can always tell when someone comes to me and they've taken like a creative financing course and they've never done a wholesale deal. I'm not saying they won't do deals. They'll never grasp wholesaling because a lot of people do it to navigate around wholesaling. I'm here to tell you, get that core. Learning wholesaling is like learning math. You can't learn algebra till you understand the fundamentals of math. Wholesaling translates to every corner of real estate investing, all the way up to $1 billion deal. I'm telling you, if I have a wholesaler and I'm competing on a deal, I have to pay attention. You give me a creative guy or like a realtor stuff, I don't even slightly worry about it. And it is a skill set that carries over in every other part of your life. Once you understand how to make a ton of money, how to minimize your risk, and how to truly help people out, it's unbelievable. So guys, please don't think, well, I'm just going to skip wholesaling because I heard it's hard. Choose your hard, guys. I'm here to tell you, I'm here to discipline you. Understand, if you can put in the fight with it, amazing things will happen. I've done the lowest end properties. I've been chased down. I've been chased by dogs. I've had my back windows broken out. I already know the risk, man. Like I just stopped. I made money in it.
That's not going to be you guys.
But it was hard.
But if you wholesale in the hood, things like that will happen. Unfortunately, we're just saying that we're just trying to I'm trying to give you a warning. If you wholesale in high crime areas, I'm not saying that like you're going to it's risky, but like it is kind of risky because I found as someone that wholesaled in high crime areas, there's a bigger chance that a crime will be committed to you. And I'm just trying to say like it is. I'm not saying this in a mean way or bad way. I've been told that I'm not allowed to be in this neighborhood. And I've gotten all these things, right?
So
I'm just trying to tell you, I would avoid that for now, especially starting out.
I did it. And I tell you what, if you want to increase your 40-yard dash, do it. Because when a dog takes off after you, you hit a gear that you didn't even know you had. And I've had that happen multiple times to me. So the easiest rule, if you're like, okay, I don't want to do the low one, I don't want to do the high one. The safest thing you can do is say, listen, if you are comfortable or driving at night and walking around the house and you feel safe there, that's a good place to start. If you don't, please take the warning. Me and Zach don't want to put anybody in physical harm. It's just not worth it. If you have to have like security guards or protection, you're probably not in the right area. And remember, as the better the neighborhood gets, the more options there are. First-time home buyers, perfect for a landlord that wants to rent it out to someone that's looking to buy into that area. They just want to rent first. It gives you options. So I've done them all. So I remember sitting down with my wife and she's like, would you go there at night by yourself? And like, I'm a pretty big guy, and the answer is a hard no. And so you need to understand what your risk. So when we talk about financial risk and everything, we also have to talk about the physical risk of the types of neighborhoods and properties you pick out. Nobody's life's worth like wholesaling or real estate investing. So always put your safety and priority number one.
Yeah, but guys, we're just trying to scare you not to go in high crime neighborhoods, because I see a lot of like, I'm just going to the roughest neighborhoods, and that's where all the stress is, and it's a rude awakening. And let me just tell you the truth. So go after starter homes. Why am I telling you? We have found, for being landlords, I have found from flipping properties, that type of 3 is the best one. So what's 4? 4 is kind of like, I call it a little better, upper middle class, more or less. These are the nicer homes, the newer homes, and then 5's like ultra luxury.
Yeah,
I've seen this. So statistically, there are like 4 or 5 huge hedge funds that have bought, I think, at least 40% of all the landlord deals this past year or two, in Texas, Florida, like all of the Southeast, Michigan, other places. Those hedge funds, I've listened to a lot of podcasts from the big guys from there, all these things. Invitation Homes is another huge one, right? And I think the CEO, they're trying to go public. He basically stated that, like, hey, we try to buy houses in the hood. We try to buy houses in very nice places, like brand new, like they call them build to rent, where they'll build it and then rent it out. And they've done it all. What they have statistically found for their best ROI on a large scale, they buy starter homes. And unfortunately, people are upset because they're trying to buy these starter homes, but those are the ones that go up most in value. And so go after properties that are low price with low crime. How do I find this? That's the big thing, guys. You can actually look up crime statistics, and you can actually look at data sets and see areas of exactly how crime is per area and in zip code. All you have to do is basically just contact your local police or your local sheriff's office. Don't call 911. Don't do that, but call the non-emergency line, or just call there's lines everywhere that's just like for information, and just ask, hey, can I get a map of 2022, which is basically last year, or 2023 or 2024, whatever you're watching this video, and just ask it, hey, can I get a map of the last year's, all the crimes by zip code? That's it.
It's all statistical information.
And they're gonna be like, well, it's not like a government list, like, oh, why are you getting this information? No, they're gonna say, and they're gonna be like, oh, it's just a concerned citizen that wants to know what areas are safe or not. And the sheriff's office is happy to give you that information. And they have the statistics, because the sheriff's office needs to know where to have patrols, right? Like, they need to know. So they'll gladly give you that information, and you get that information. And then what I want you to do is figure out what the median home price is per zip code, and then stack the two on top of each other and see which ones have the lowest price with the lowest crime. And that's it. Now, one thing I want everybody to understand when you're doing this statistical analysis, if you have a zip code that has 1,000 people, and you see there's 100 crimes committed there, and then you see a zip code that has 5,000 people and there's 100 crimes committed there, understand that you need to make a ratio. The one that has a higher population with the same crime means there's less crime per person. And so that's just, find out what the crime per person is per zip code, and then you can find the best areas. This is secret information. I haven't heard one guru talk about it.
Yeah, and one other
Not
way.
one.
So, like,
your cash buyers know that.
I'm just going to be brutally honest. I personally wouldn't go through that much effort, because I'd rather you guys focus on your marketing.
Yeah.
Here's a little trick. Now, I don't keep up with this, and I have no affiliation with this company. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of it, but it is a useful tool. Trulia.com used to be able to stick the address.
They don't
in
have
it.
that.
They don't have it anymore. They used to have a crime button.
That's why.
And it would,
that's why I mentioned it. So Zillow bought Trulio and then took that off. So that's why I told you guys out here to go.
Crazy.
No, I know. And so he tried. There used to be a thing on Trulia that used to be able to find the crime maps for you just automatically.
You put the address in, and it'll tell you exactly the percentage and how bad the crimes are. I'm like, okay, out. And
so Zillow bought it, and they took that off, probably for cost. So that's why I tell everybody, go to the sheriff's office. It'll take a weekend. Just message them out there and do it, because it's actually a big advantage. Because that means your competition can't do this, and it'll help you figure it out. Here's the truth. How do we know where the crimes are in our area? First of all, I grew up in this area. And secondly, I know what areas my houses get broken into. I know what areas they don't.
So this
Yeah.
applies more to virtually because guys in your local market, like you don't need a statistic
No.
thing to tell you. So in virtual, sometimes you walk in the markets because you just based it on price and population. You didn't understand it was like a high crime neighborhood. So I think that's a good tool. Things change, especially if you're going virtual. You have to consider the crime because crime's going to have effect on how you operate everything.
Yeah. And so you might be like, oh my gosh, this is so cheap. This is a great deal.
Yeah.
Someone went up to me and they're like, Zach, I got a deal for $20,000 and you're going to be a great buyer for this. I said, oh, my market? Yeah. I'm like, okay, let's look it up. And I'm like, I looked at it. I'm like, no, I'm good. There was 4 homicides there like last month. It was a very bad area. But he thought just because it was so cheap and the pictures looked okay, it was not okay. Okay. So just guys, where do you go find good deals? Use that. On top of that too, ask your cash buyers where they want to buy.
Now they'll tell you where so they'll always tell you where they don't want to buy first. So that's part of gathering that intel. Guys, I've bought a lot of properties in neighborhoods that it looked really good on paper, and then I got it. I'm like, oh my god. So here's the thing: is you can always fix the property, but the neighborhood is the neighborhood. Unless you're going to buy,
you can't fix the
entire
neighborhood
block. So here's a little secret I learned the hard way: is when you buy like these cheap properties, or maybe you're in question, go, Rick, it's such a good deal. Go in the property appraiser site and look at the sales history. If you see that property's changed hands 10, 20, 30 times, and you see a bunch of foreclosures, you see where the bank took it back, it's called a history, and you are doomed to repeat it. I tried so hard, guys. I bought a 6-plex in a rough neighborhood, put all the money, rehabbed it for 6 months. The whole thing got burnt down. And I just got back in line and I learned I could change the property. I can't change the neighborhood. If you apply like a fix and flip mentality, you will get killed on these properties. So if you see like 20 or 30 transactions on the property the last few years, it just means you're going to be next on that list.
Exactly. So let's get into where to find the deal. We talked about that. So let's get into how to find the deal, right? It's kind of easy to know where to go, but the execution of how to do it. So I want to give everybody a game plan on this too. But let's just break down how to find the deal first, right? And so to find the deal, I need you guys to go out here and flip the switch. All right. I need everybody watching this to go out here and flip the switch. What do I mean by flip the switch? By flipping the switch out here, you're going to go out here and change the way you've been looking at wholesaling real estate, right? The way that you are looking at getting your deal. And what do I mean by this? Most wholesalers, when they try to get the first real estate wholesaling deal, all they focus on is that deal. They write it up. They dream about it. First deal, first deal, first deal. I'm going to hope and pray. I'm going to manifest this deal. No. You don't manifest the deal. You got to go work for it, right? I can't go manifest abs while eating a donut, all right? Or eating an entire pizza, right? Or a gallon of ice cream.
Stop with the food thing, man. I'm starving.
But you can't manifest it by doing that, right? You can't manifest. You have to manifest by actually doing it. I can't sit on the dock just by myself and manifest me catching a fish.
You can't go through the matrix on a Zoom call and figure out how to flip a
you
property.
can't schedule a call and get a deal, right? You can't sit on a dock and imagine that you're going to go catch this big fish. You have to actually go do it, right? I think a lot of people have this manifesting, affirmations are great and all, but like there's time just to do it, right? And so a lot of it is mental, like I've said, but you have to actually focus on the result. And the action. So to get the result you want, you got to do the action you want. So stop focusing about getting the deal. Focus about how many X amount of contacts you need for a deal. Because if you stop focusing, one deal. No, start manifesting this. 500 drawing for dollars leads, 500 drawing for dollars leads, 500 drawing for dollars leads. It's not as sexy, but I promise you, the person that focuses on 500 drawing for dollars leads will probably get there.
I'll get past it.
The person that's focusing just on this kind of ambiguous fugazi type thing, it's like, okay, I know to get the first deal, but it's like, what do I do? And then you start trying all these things. It's like, no. Just laser focus, tunnel vision on that one thing, and you'll get it, right? And so I want everybody to understand that you got to flip the switch. Now, next part here is a new concept. It's not really a new concept. It's something I've subconsciously been doing forever. You have too, for most wholesalers. But to get your first real estate wholesaling deal, I've statistically found that over 80% of all wholesalers have gotten their first deal and sold their first deal by the rule of 3. It's a shocking revelation, but it's true. I've talked about this before, but I haven't called it the rule of 3 before. I just said this is the shocking secret, right? There's a wholesaling rule of 3, which basically means there are rules out here in real estate where if you focus just on 3 things for one subject, you'll become successful with it. And I found this there's 3 things in marketing, 3 things on cash buyers, 3 things on acquisitions, that all come down to getting your first real estate wholesaling deal. That is it. It's really not as complicated as it seems. And so what I want to do is just share it for the marketing side real quick, right? So in lists, there's 3 lists. Most wholesalers get their first deal off of only 3 lists. Only 3.
Shocking.
And so if we found out 80% of wholesalers get their first deal from just 3 lists, you should probably try that, right?
Probably do it.
If most people are becoming successful by doing this, you should probably do that, right? Don't try to reinvent the wheel here. And let's break it down. So what are the 3 lists, right? Number 1, government lists. Guys, I've screamed about this forever. From the rooftops, okay? Your first deal, get it from a government list. Here's your list you get from the government for free. The Matrix doesn't want to let you know that, but it's true. These are code violations, shutoffs, fire damage properties, tax liens, tax delinquencies. There's also evictions lists. There's bail bondsman lists. There's a million type of lists out here, arrest records that you can go actually out here and start getting lists from the government absolutely for free. And they're all one-stop shop. If you're in City Hall, a lot of them are all kind of there. It's sometimes a little difficult to get these lists, but the truth is because it's difficult because number 1, they don't want to give the list because no one has ever gone to some of these government agencies. No one's ever asked them for that list, which means there's not a lot of competition. So when I get my raffs out here saying, oh, wholesaling's so saturated. Every time I call somebody, they say I'm the 4th caller. I got 3 DMs yesterday. It's so hard out here to wholesale. As I'm collecting, you saw in the mailbox, 2 more checks came in. Like as we're just collecting checks here and there, like all the time in our mailbox, I get people no, it's because you're not doing the hard things to become successful. Guys, it has always been hard to do hard work. It's always been difficult. It's always been difficult to go do the things you have to do every single day. It's never been easy, but it's always been worth it. And so if you want to go do the lists that are hard to pull, but they're easy to wholesale, that's what you have to do. So I want everybody do the thing that's hard in the beginning and then easy at the end. Here's a quick story of me as a kid, and you can vouch for this. This is true.
Okay.
When I was like 6 or 7 years old, you used to make steak on Sundays, right? And we still do sometimes too, right? Like we'll have dinner together as a family. I'll come over, we'll have nice steak and stuff. But like what I used to do is used to make steak when I was like 7 or 8, and it was steak, broccoli, and mashed potatoes, or like peas. I subconsciously, because I'm a crazy kid, you know what I did?
No.
I would eat the peas first because I hated the vegetables, and then I'd eat the steak and potatoes. I did the thing that I didn't want to do starting out, and then I actually went out here and had the good thing. My sister, on the other hand, she would eat the steak and the potatoes, and then she'd be left with the vegetables.
That's what I did.
And then you'd be like, you got to eat your vegetables. And I already did it. Subconsciously, as a kid, I always did the things that were difficult starting out, so I didn't have to deal with them anymore.
No.
And so this is why, even though during my week, when I have to go through something really difficult, like a lot of work, I get all the work done on a Monday. Like all the things that suck, I do it all on a Monday. All of them on a Monday. See, I can't do that anymore, but I used to do that. Like all the hard work on a Monday, like for school. I did all the essays and stupid stuff first, so I could just relax after. And so in wholesaling, it's kind of the same thing. Getting the lists that are difficult, do all the hard stuff first, and then when you wholesale cold call, it's so much easier. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, government lists are absolutely powerful because they're free. No other wholesalers are really pulling them too much. And there's always another stone to unturn with the government list. There's always another type of government list. And I've never had somebody on a live that says, Zach, I've cold called. Actually, no, I have, but on another. I've had people say, Zach, I've cold called every government list. And I say, you do tax delinquencies? He says, no. Okay, next. I did every list. Yeah, I did tax delinquencies. Did you do the arrest record? No. I've never found somebody that does every single government list every single month because there's too many.
Guys, there's plenty of lists out there, but like I will tell you, like when we do the one-on-ones, I'll talk to anybody, I'll help anybody out, but you can either complain or you can find a solution. And if you don't think me and Zach run against obstacles in this list all the time, we do.
That's the point.
Find a way to get through it, go around it, and get the list. You're dealing with people. That's all you're dealing with. So if we're dealing with motivated sellers, it should be substantially easier to use your rapport building skills to deal with these people. I'm asking you to do what nobody else wants to do. You're going to do the hard stuff. Let it do the easy stuff. Let them get their 9 to 5 and celebrate on Friday night. If you want to break from that, you're going to have to do the stuff that most people won't tolerate. And by the way, thank you for the saving me some money on the therapy session today. I'm sure some more. I'm waiting for him to come out with a tell-all book about dad.
No, but here's the thing. I always did was difficult starting out as a kid. It's just mentally what I was, but I'm not calling myself tough or anything, but that's what I did. And I kind of did that in my wholesaling business, and it showed a lot of great results. So government lists Go to freewholesaling.com. That's how you pull them. Freewholesaling.com. Now, next one is drying for dollars and reverse drying for dollars. Pretty simple, right?
Yep.
You just go in your car, look for ugly houses.
Don't need a course for this one, guys.
Well, reverse drying for dollars, maybe. Just got to know what to say. So I put in the sticky notes, hey, my name is Zach. I had a question about your property. Please give me a call back. Freewholesaling.com. Show you exactly how to do that. Now, the last one is kind of a cheat, but it's true. The other ones are just paid lists, right?
Ooh.
And so these are lists you have to pay for. So how do I pay for a list, right? There's services out here where you can pay for data. ListRI.com, which is PropStream, or like ZachData.com. You can also use DMZach.com for drying for dollars, and they also have some data on there. Now, why do I say paid lists, right? I heard the software is free and it pulls the probates for me. Guys, for years I've had this. I can pull this list for free with this free software. Let me tell you the truth. When you have a service that gives you a vacant, possibly pre-foreclosures, all this data, it costs millions of dollars every single year to get that data. It costs millions of dollars every single year, and it costs close to $1 million, not $1 million a month, but very close to that to actually get the best quality data. Because you can pull pre-foreclosures the cheap way, or you can pull it the expensive and hard way. You can pull the vacant data the easy way, or the cheap way, or the expensive way. As somebody that looked into making a wholesaling software like a couple of years, just researching it and talking to the guys that make millions doing it, I realized how expensive data was. All right. And there are people out here that do free softwares for wholesaling. And what they do is they skimp out on the high quality data just to get it, right? And so this is like, it's like saying, I worked out my biceps for an hour, right? Here's the problem. Yeah, you worked out your biceps for an hour, but you did 2 curls and you were on your phone the entire time. It's like you did it, but you didn't do it well, right? It's always best to do the thing the best way possible. So when I have a service that has free probate, guys, I see it. It's trash. I actually pull the legit probate list and compare it. Trash. I pull vacant data from PropStream and Batch Leads and I compare it to other vacant data. Trash, because I know they skimp. And I call it paid list because you got to pay for it. Because they have to spend millions of dollars getting the good data. They're going to want money for it, right? I'm an advocate for free wholesaling information, but for marketing, you can do it for free. But I'm also a big fan of paying for it, right?
Well, we've created this internal web because me and Zach are the only guys in wholesaling, and tell me otherwise, that give 100% free content. I mean, I literally never done a paid ad. I've never asked for referrals. There's no like call to qualify. It's 100% free. So now we're talking about free data. What you got to understand with data is, I've tried so many data services. If data is free, they're going to get delivered in the cheapest format possible because there is no choice. I only use data sources that are reliable, that have proven to my business, and people all over the country that go, hey, this is rock solid. It works. Because think about this. Say I'm just going to do a cold calling and say you pull a 2,500 list. You got to skip trace them. You got to pay for that. And then what's even more important is your time. You spend, 20, 30 hours cold and you don't get anything out of it. And you go, well, the list was free. I go, dude.
Or it was really cheap. Like it was a 3-cent Fiverr list.
Yeah.
No, it looks like when I did 10,000 leads, I saved $1,000 because I didn't spend 13 cents for skip tracing. I spent 3 cents, but really you wasted that $200-300 and all of your time because now you have to re-skip trace the list because the data was trash.
Yeah. And so there's so many variables that go in the data. I'm an expert at looking at data. When it comes to pulling data, I'm not going to tell you an expert on it. I will tell you this though, there is a tremendous difference. So for the longest time before I used PropStream or Batch, I would double test them against my list source. Why? Because I didn't trust them. And it took me years to build that trust level, and the point where I was doing it, it got endorsed all over the country. Everybody, so I knew it worked and it was more cost effective. List source, I used to pay 20 to 25 cents a lead, guys. Yeah. And you don't understand what an opportunity.
How mad were you when I said we're doing this direct mail campaign on PropStream? You were so mad at me.
I didn't want to do it.
You were so upset. We dropped like $7,000 on a PropStream list. Yeah. And I was like, I keep seeing so many people, let's try it out. Because it had lists that List Source never had. Yeah. And I'm like, we got to try this. And you're like, nah. And you know what? We tried it. We got, I think 3 deals from that. Yeah. We made like, I think 70K. And you're like, I'm hooked, right? And I started cold calling. And the only reason you allowed me to was because I did like 2 SMS deals off that same PropStream list. You're like, okay. Yeah. If Zach could do it, fine, right? Guys, I haven't found one free service that works very well on a mass scale. Let me give you a truth. TruePeopleSearch.com. It's a free skip tracing software. When you have no money and you have to skip trace, it's the best one.
That's it.
But if I had 15,000 leads and I was going to use treatpeoplesearch.com, my results would not be as good as if I paid for it. And the difference between saving $1,000 on skip tracing is the difference between me doing an extra 75 grand this month or not. And in my opinion, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Guys, one deal, if you skimp on data, you're going to lose one deal. That deal can be $10, $15, $20, $30,000. So yes, wholesaling information should be free, but when you're going actually out here using a free service, they're going to want to put you on a list to sell you on their $15,000 mastermind program.
They got so many other products coming around the corner. And so you just got to understand going at data is really important. And then the other thing is like old data, they sell secondhand on the market. It's dirt cheap. How do you know where you're getting that data? Use this analogy. If someone off the street offered you a 5-gallon tank, he's holding a tank and go, hey, Rick, I have 5 gallons of free gas here. You can't see it, can't smell it. Can I just pour it in your tank? Say yes or no. What happens if he's pouring pure water into your tank? What's going to happen? What is the catastrophic event?
Or maybe it's diluted 50-50, half water, half gas.
You're going to spend a lot of time in repairs. You're going to have to get it towed. You're going to have to get the engine rebuilt. And was it really worth that free gas? You would have been better off paying the $20-$30 to put that in there. And I'm telling you guys, you have to know what's going in your tank if you're going to take it, because the amount of energy you're going to spend skip tracing and the time, if that list is bad, forget the time and the money lost. You're going to be so discouraged. Most people wind up quitting it. I get it. People are trying to gain market share and all that stuff, and I'm fine with it. But it's never going to be free for long. And if the information is not validated, where you see thousands and thousands of people going, man, I'm getting good deals from this, be very wary. I've never, ever, any free data I've gotten other than going with the government list, which is the direct source, and that's why it's okay, but you got to go through the shenanigans.
It's a direct source.
It's a direct source. So whenever I've gotten a third-party list or something like that, 9 times out of 10, it's extremely disappointing.
Exactly. Driving for dollars, direct source, ugly house, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I say I've seen people create free softwares and they say, we're going to do it for free for a limited time, and then we're going to gain market share, and then we're going to screw people over. So annoying. I've seen coaches do free coaching for like 4 months to gain the audience, and then boom, everything's paid now. And so I know it's around the corner. I can see it. Guys, I got tunnel vision. You guys seen me for almost 3 years on this channel. Yeah. Gurus have actually said this to my face. I know what you're doing, Zach. You're going to gain this audience. You're going to gain hundreds of thousands of people, and then you're going to hit them with the course. Guys, we're 3 years in.
Now, where's the course?
When's the course coming out? Yeah. The pay, right, guys? It's not there. And so paid list. So the question is, should I pay for a list? Should I not pay for a list? I'm so confused. Here's the thing. I did this in order on purpose. Pull as many government lists as you can, and then do as many drawing for dollars leads. When you exhaust all options, and you want to scale up even more because it takes too much time to pull these lists, pay for a list. That is what it is. All right. Oh, but I got $4 grand. No, do government lists. All right. So let's talk about the marketing channel. So rule of threes, we're going to talk about the big 3 marketing channels. Pretty simple, but this is it. Cold calling, reverse drawing for dollars, just technically a sticky note, and then SMS text blasting.
Simple.
Wait, reverse drive? Yeah, you can reverse drive for dollars. Let's say a code violation list. You get a list of code violations. You don't have to pay for skip tracing. You just go to that house and slap a sticky note on there. DMZach.com actually has, you can put the addresses in and it'll give you a route. Pretty cool, right? Cold calling, you can do that in SMS. I have found if you go outside of this, especially trying to get your first deal, it's not worth it, right? I'm a big fan of direct mail. I actually get most of my deals from direct mail. Well, outside JV deals now, but we love it. But for a beginner, it's probably not the best, right? And so focus on the 3, 80% from there.
Did you know most gurus, their primary way of teaching most of you guys to do deals is direct mail? So you're going to walk in, you're going to pay, say, a $5,000, $7,000 course. Then they're going to tell you to commit $3,000 to $5,000 a month, and you have no experience talking to yourself. This is why we avoid it. We love direct mail. We know it works. It's not for the faint of heart and the beginner. So if you learn the skill sets on how to talk to people and how to get a great wholesaling deal, and you get some money in your bank account, then you can graduate over to direct mail. But in the beginning, most of you are struggling, and I get it. We're trying to give you the fastest way to get your first deal. And remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Exactly. If you want to sprint, go to a paid guru, because they've got 5 other courses they're going to tell you need to take after you paid that first one.
Exactly. And next is, I don't care what your guru said. And I say this very, very nicely. I get asked, but my guru said, I don't care what your guru is saying. Let me tell you the truth. If you want to get your first deal under 2 weeks, you got no money or not much money, your guru does not care about you. They only care about the money you have in your pocket. They're like Las Vegas. Las Vegas only cares about one thing, separating you from your money. That's all they want. They legit don't care. They might care if you feel good being there because they want you to come back, but they don't care. Why does everybody who leaves Las Vegas pretty much feel sad and angry and probably a little sick and hungover?
Yeah.
Because Las Vegas used you and now you're done and they want you out and they want the new people back in. That's what gurus care about. And so if you have no money, Las Vegas doesn't really care about you. They don't care about the gurus. Don't care about you.
What do they say? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?
I guess so.
What happens with your guru stays with you and your guru. Like launching on us what your guru told you to do. Like the reality is you're probably watching our channel because your guru never delivered. And I'm okay with that. I'll help you out. But like when you come on, my guru said, leave it at the door, dude, because I'm going to give you the truth. Your guru had to separate you from your money. And then they had to get through their 30-day waiting grace period on the credit card. And then eventually they might tell you the truth a few months down the road, but you won't have a deal. So pick which journey you want to do. I don't care. I'm going to give you the straightest path to get this done.
Exactly. And I'm just letting everybody know, I don't care what your guru says because your guru just wants your money. And I've never seen a guru try to legitimately give you advice and not want something from it. No, yeah. It's, that's a good question. If you join our mentorship, we'll let you know. Like it's all this stuff. So guys, I don't care what your guru has to say. I get this in the comments, but my guru said, I don't care what your guru said. But my guru said I should do TV ads. Your guru said you should do TV ads because he has a course to sell you on TV ads. Your guru said he should do this because he wants you to make money off of this. Guys, I make no money off of you pulling a government list and getting your first deal. I make no money. You know why? I don't care. No. I just want to help you out. And so
guys, I've done every TV ad in the world. I have a lot of experience. It just does not have a good ROI. And it's extremely inconsistent. It's all over the board and it's extremely expensive. And I'm just telling you, you'll never, ever hear me talk about it. Some people have some little bit of success with radio, but once again, that's kind of hit or miss. And you almost have to understand that entire media industry to even understand if you're going to get a good ROI. But TVs, that's why when you see like the local guy and occasionally he puts a TV ad, you'll see it run for 2 or 3 weeks and then they run out of money every time. And if it was so good, we'd all be hammering the TVs. So take note, like there's subtle clues that make it really simple for you.
Every single time I get a comment says, Zach, you know what you're talking about. Facebook ads are the best. Guess what? I click on their profile and guess what it is? Facebook ad course. Because you are trying to sell Facebook ads to people. That's why you're promoting it. Why do I promote government leads? Do I have a government lead course? No, I'm here to help you out. So guys, there's a matrix out here and we are revealing it to you and how to break free. So let's go to the rule of threes with cash buyers. There are 3 main ways to find cash buyers. Wait, only 3?
3?
Yeah. Cold call the for rent. Those are where the landlords are. Cold call cash sales. People that are buying houses for cash. Flippers tab on PropStream, right? All these things. And then lastly, go to local property auctions. That's where they're all hanging out, right? There's realtors, but honestly, when you do cash sales, you can see the realtor representing it. So it's technically in there. A little cheating, but like focus on 3. 3, 3, 3. Let's talk about acquisitions. To close a deal, focus on 3 things. MCTP, starting out, right? Condition the seller, or they make a yes or no decision, more at freeholsing.com, and then close. That's all you really, and there's stuff in between that, but like you want to focus on 3 things on getting a deal closed. MCTP, condition the seller, make sure they're ready to make a decision, then close them, right? Guys, it's a 3-3-3 approach. Guys, heck, even when I train my acquisitions people, I do a 3-3-3 approach. I close 3 appointments in front of them. They close 3 with me, and then I see them close 3, and then boom, they're ready to go. Guys, there's a rule of 3s in real estate wholesaling, and it absolutely works. So I want everybody to understand this. Focus on just 3 things at a time. That's pretty much all my brain can handle sometimes. But like, just do it, right? So if you want an action plan right now, focus on 3. So which 3 are you going to focus on? Focus on the lists and then focus on the marketing channel. And so starting out, you want an action plan. I would recommend for everybody to go pull three government lists. Start out, pull 3 government lists and then get at least 3 contacts a day. That's hello. Let's just focus on that starting out, ramp it up a little more and get your first deal. That is my action plan. It's going to be a 3-3-3 approach. Pull 3 government lists. Make sure you spend at least, do 3 government lists for the past month. And then I want you to get 3 contacts a day and hopefully make 1 offer a day. I always say this, 1 offer a day keeps the guru away. But that's it in wholesaling, right? It's not that complicated. I think a lot of wholesalers complicate this, but like focus on 3.
It's just you have to take the action. So the government lists are usually the most direct path to get your first deal. And remember, some of you that are light on money, that's okay, because if you can learn the skill set of how to talk to people and learn how to build a rapport and do the whole MCTP that we teach over freewholesaling.com, you're going to be a better wholesaler in the long run. As opposed to someone paying a guru, they teach them direct mail, they spend $5,000 up front, $15,000 on mail. Hey, I just got a deal, I made 10 grand. As soon as that guru leaves, the confidence is going to be out the window. They're never going to figure it out. So
it's powerful.
It's powerful, guys. I'm just telling you. One of the biggest secrets I learned in wholesaling is your ability to talk to people. So number one, you have to do it. How do you do it? You got to get the list. And because you lack experience, there's 2 ways to make it up, and there's only 2. And there's no way around it. Number one, you have to have an incredible amount of enthusiasm. I can't tell you how many people me and Zach bring into our business or people we partner up with. If you got the right attitude and you're willing to go through a brick wall, we'll take a chance on you. If your attitude sucks and you keep guessing everything, I don't want to work with you because I can't fix your attitude. No matter what line of work, anything you do, if you have a poor attitude, there's nothing you can say or do to change people. And a lot of you try to incentivize those people, it's even worse. The second way to fix this is massive amounts of quantity. That's why we're talking about government lists. Because guess what? The more people you call, talk to, or meet with, the more experiences you get. The more experiences you get, it's going to turn into wisdom. It's going to turn into deals. But so many people want to just skip the list. And when you do sometimes get a lead that lands on your lap and you go, I don't know how to talk to them. It's because you did not take the steps we told you to do. I want you to talk to thousands of people. That's the secret in wholesaling no one will ever share with you. The more people who talk with you, the better you get. And you got to force yourself to get better, because eventually you have to get a deal to prove your theory of wholesaling. And that's how you get a contract, you get paid. You have to have the confidence before you get that first contract. And really, that's the hardest part of wholesaling. The best way to do it is a massive amount of quantity and an extreme enthusiasm. If you can bring those 2 things, anyone can be successful in wholesaling. Here's the reality. Few will do it. Exactly. It's the truth, guys. That's why you have a reverse marketing from gurus telling you, hey, everybody wins. Did you notice you only get testimonial of winners? What you have to understand, the average guru, they could take thousands of people and have 10, 15, or maybe just 100 successes. Guys, that's over a 90% failure ratio. Crazy. And you have to understand that going into this.
Yeah. And so guys, that is it. 3-3-3 approach. They say the greatest things in life come in 3. And it's absolutely true. So guys, that's what we're talking about today. That's how you get your first deal in under 2 weeks. Guys, if you want to learn exactly how to get your first deal, kind of get some knowledge of everything there too, just go to our free wholesaling course. There's no way to get money. There's no way to give a credit card. It's just free. You click it, you're there.
No credit card slot.
No credit card, nothing. All you got to do is just create a login account so you can track your own progress. You're good to go. So guys, go to freewholesaling.com to learn wholesaling real estate for free.